everybody, welcome to Garden Time with Belle. Today is going to be a fun day. I mean, how can it not be fun? Take a look at all these new plants. I need to get in either pots or I need to get them in the landscape. On my last video, I shared with you all a trip my girlfriend and I took to Vintage Hill Farms in Franklin, Missouri. You know, I'm coming to you from a zone 6B here in mid-Missouri, and she and I took about a 30-minute drive to this quaint, beautiful 100-year-old farm in that area of central Missouri, and just had the best time picking out plants. So that's my adventure today, is to get these in my pots, and actually some of these are going to go out into the landscape. So what do I need for today's garden adventure? I need, of course, my plants. I need my really good potting mix. You know, I prefer Pro Mix, but you know, any good quality potting soil is really important when you're trying to grow annuals and keep them looking beautiful all season long. So to help them along, besides that great potting mix, you know, I always add Biotone starter fertilizer to the hole when I plant. Oh, there's some geese going by. I wonder if that's Mr. and Mrs. G. I introduced to them in another video. I don't know. But anyways, oh, back to gardening. Yeah, that's right. Anyhow, Biotone's going to go in every hole and help the roots really get a good fresh start. And I'll throw in some of this Proven Winners continuous release plant food, because a lot of these are flowering, or some of these are just putting on lots of beautiful growth through their leaves. So I'm going to throw a little handful of this into all the pots as well. Besides that, I actually moved my table out here because when I find that I'm potting up so many things, I like to be up working on a surface like this, and it helps me get it done quicker and more efficiently. Yeah, I could be on my hands and knees, but you know what? At this age and gardening as long as I have, yeah, I would rather do it this way. So I've got everything laid out on the table. The other thing, other tools I need for the job, things I need, I've got a trowel here. I have my small Felco's nippers, because actually some of these, like this Coleus here, they need the really long, and while that seems really gorgeous, actually when you prune things like this, and I'll show you how, it will help this plant really branch out. So I'm going to take some of the top growth off, because in the wind, and I moved around to this side of the house because it was so daggone windy a little bit ago. The wind, you know, could be really hard on these tender new plants. So I'm going to do a little pruning, light pruning today. Let's see, I've got my garden gloves. I've got my soil tray to keep everything in here. I'll show you how that works. And I've got, of course, a big glass of water, because I'm planning on just hanging out here, taking my time, enjoying this glorious spring day here in mid-Missouri. So that's where I'm headed. Of course, I will be showing you all the plants and how I'm going to pot them up. I'm also going to need to come over there and grab the camera, because I want to show you one of the tools I use in my garden almost every day. Hang on, I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. So here is one of my favorite tools. You can see my get around, my scooter, and my sled that I pull behind it. I use this almost every day on our property. You know, some of you already have been with me a while. You know that I have the great good fortune to live in this gorgeous setting on about 11 acres. And this scooter allows me to haul all kinds of heavy things around really quickly. It's just been amazing. You know, when my husband first suggested I use the scooter, I said, oh no, I'm too young for that, right? I need the exercise. Well, it didn't take long for me to realize how useful this was to carry super heavy bags of soil and mulch and garden refuse to the compost heap. So yeah, so love it. And oh, do you see my Jack Manny over there? I mean, how can we not stop just for a second and focus on that clematis? Here's the thing. I don't want to go in a lot of detail because this isn't a video about clematis, but clematis comes in 3 different types. And supposedly the Jackmany type, I was supposed to have pruned it way back this early spring. Well, you know, I got busy with other stuff and I did not prune that baby. And look at that. By the time it was time to prune, but when I had the time, it was budded out and I said, oh, no, we're going to see what happens when I don't prune. Well, I think it's looking pretty dang good for not pruning. So yeah, so that's my Jackmany. I'm also going to show you some of the pots I'm going to use today. So here are some of my beautiful pots laid out, ready to be filled with soil and these gorgeous plants. You know, when you garden as long as I have, you tend to collect a lot of pots, and I think these are going to look really, really pretty. So it's time to get to it. I want to show you what I'm going to be potting up and get this project underway. I've got my little mic on today, so I hope that it will help you hear me better, and I hope this little fuzzy thing here is supposed to help with the wind, and it's another windy day in mid-Missouri. So okay, let me show you what I'm going to plant. So these things here represent the things I'm going to put in pots, and these things over here I'm going to actually plant in the landscape. So in pots, I've been wanting to get my hands on this Proven Winners annual called it's a Euphorbia. It's called Diamond Snow. Isn't that gorgeous? So I've got 2 of these, and I'm gonna put just 1 in each pot because let's take a look at the specs here. They get upwards of 18 inches tall and 10 to 12 inches wide. And so I've got a couple little pots that I'm going to put down by my greenhouse pots that you saw me pot up the other day with purple and white plants. And I thought this would be a great contrast in texture. It's just beautiful and flowy. So Diamond Snow Euphorbia is going to go in. Then when I was at Vintage Hills with my friend, you know that I scored big time on Coleus. Coleus grows great in my yard. Coleus grows great in pots around my property. And if you don't know about Coleus, for its absolute beautiful foliage, you need to check it out. It comes in many, many, many varieties and many colors, and some can grow super big, some grow small. So anyhow, let's talk about this. So I've got 3 of these, and these are called, oh gosh, I don't know what brand this is, but this is called a purple, haha. Full sun and shade. That's the beauty of a lot of Coleus. They can take full shade and they can take quite a bit of sun. Yeah, so these 3, isn't that gorgeous, are going to go in one of my pots. So I have 2 unique stone concrete planters that flank the doorway to our house that I got probably about 4 years ago. One of the reasons why I got them is because sort of this front pathway and the front porch of our house is sort of more, I don't really want to say formal, but it's not just like bursting with things. It's more manicured or managed. And so I love the look of those concrete pots. But also the most important reason why I chose concrete is because I'm facing you, and that's west, and we get storms from the southwest come in up into my front patio, and the planters I've had before were not heavy enough to withstand some of those high winds. And so these concrete planters aren't going anywhere. In fact, I don't have them out here next to the table. I'm going to take the camera around there and show you me planting them right on the front porch where those concrete planters lie. So what am I putting in there? Oh, my favorite. You know what? I've grown Dragonwing begonias in there for, this will probably be the 3rd year, because they get enormous. One plant gets enormous and they're gorgeous. And so Dragonwing, and this is the pink variety. Even though the tag says red, they, I think, mislabeled some of these at Vintage Hills Farms, because I talked to the lady about it and I said, this is a lot lighter. I've grown red before, but this year I wanted a lighter red or a pink. So Dragonwing pink. So only 1 is going to go in each pot. and I needed a spiller. So in the front of my pot, I scored on some proven winners. Carolina Medusa green, a sweet potato vine, or Ip, Ipomea is the botanical name. Isn't that gorgeous? So I just thought, what a nice contrast between the Dragonwing begonia and these really skinny leaves on this gorgeous, gorgeous Ipomea. This will get, what does it say? It stays short, between 6 and 12 inches tall, which is great, but it can spill up to 18 inches. So that would be amazing if this would grow tall and this would spill out of the front. That's going to go on my front porch. All right, what else? What else? Oh, okay. On my back porch, we are fortunate to have a screened-in porch, and on my back porch, I just like to have a few pots inside with us, and I just wanted something easy to grow, like Impatiens. Oftentimes I'll grow tuberous begonias there. They do really well because they get morning sun and then they're shaded the rest of the day. And so these Impatiens can tolerate both sun and shade, and I hope they'll do well. What drew me to these Impatiens is the foliage. I mean, my gosh, isn't that spectacular? Dark green edge, chartreusey yellow centers, and look at the beautiful stems, that gorgeous red burgundy. And they produce, if I can get out of here, they produce these pinky purple flowers. You saw me the other day plant some Supertunia Vista jazzberry, and these are going to be close to the same color as the jazzberry, which is nice because the jazzberry hanging baskets are also out on the back porch. All right, so many plants. I definitely will speed up my planting, so you don't have to watch me plant everything, because who has time for all that? Okay, last thing that's going to go into the pots, more Coleus. I mean, look at this gorgeous, vibrant Coleus. Let's see what its name is. Electric Lime. They're pretty good at naming these things, I'd say. So look at this. I love that it's so textured, the foliage. And of course, you know, Coleus, you grow it for this amazing, unique foliage. So these are going to go in some pots, in a little cluster of pots that are going to be up on my exposed deck. I promise I'll show you where they all end up after I get them planted. Okay, so those are the annuals that I'm going to work with today. Oh, and I didn't show you, you know, it's always good to have some little fillers. And so I just grabbed some white Impatiens. I'm not sure exactly where. I'll pop these in some of the containers maybe that need a little extra oomph. Okay, what's going in the ground? I got some Brunnera. Brunnera is an amazing shade plant. This is going to go on the north side of the house by Mr. Mikawa, our Japanese maple, and our hostas, and some of the other things I have growing there. So I purchased 3 of these Brunnera. This variety is called Alexander's Great. I mean, I know I keep saying that, but like silver, it's just going to shimmer in that space. It gets big. In fact, I did some spacing the other day to decide where these were going to go. So height 14 inches, width up to 30 inches. So it'll spread out 2.5 feet. So, and what it's not showing now, and I'm not sure if it's going to bloom, but they actually bloom in the spring with the most delicate, teeny tiny blue flowers. I think they're sometimes considered, I think I read, they're considered a false forget-me-not. So if you know what the forget-me-not little flowers look like, they produce these flowers that come up in the spring, and then of course they die back, but this doesn't die back. It just continues to spread and show off all season long. So I'm really excited about growing my first Brunnera, and I sure hope they do well in my landscape. Oh, those of you that are in Missouri or this part of the country that have copperhead snakes, well, they're poisonous. They're really not our favorite snake, but guess what this Coleus is named? Appley Copperhead. So lovely. So this is going in the landscape. One of the things, well, let me show you one more thing that's going in the landscape, and then I want to talk about how I decided where to plant these in the landscape and the thought process that went into this. Oh, of course, this is a proven winners. You know, I'm a big fan of all of their stuff. This is their Colorblaze Torch light. Dark burgundy, pink, the gorgeous chartreusey green edges. I mean, I'm telling you, Coleus is it for me. Sun to shade, again, Coleus is super adaptable, 24 to 40 inches. This baby gets huge. And so you'll see where I planted on the north side of the house, and it's going to be sort of up against the wall so that hoping it can get really tall and be in the back of the border instead of in the front. So let me just share with you my thought process on these going into the landscape. At first I thought, maybe I should place them around each other, right? And to show the contrast. But I laid them out like that and they looked okay. I thought that's the way I was gonna take care of it, the planting, but I changed my mind because then I went and I clustered 3 of each of these, the same variety around, and that was it. Like as soon as I put those copperhead ones in a little triangle cluster, I said, oh yeah, that's it. You know when you know. And so I love to just play around with stuff. I'll buy things that I love, that I'm interested in, that I've never even grown before, and then I sort of I think about where I can place them, but really until you bring them home and put them around in your landscape or in pots, it's hard to make that decision in advance. So that's what I'm going to do. Big impact. It's always great from a design standpoint. Yeah, I mean, there are no rules in gardening, believe me. There are no rules. Do you. Like, you do you. But if you plant things in 3s, odd numbers, or 5s, or 7s, there's just something really pleasing to the eye when it's like that versus 2 here and 2 over there. It's kind of like home decor kinds of things as well. So anyhow, okay, that was a lot of talking, but I really am so excited about all my new things. You know, I've been growing so many things from seed. So being able to go out and get instant plants and instant color was pretty exciting for me. And now it's a great day to get them up in their pots. So I'll take you along a little bit on the basics of potting things up, but I'm probably not going to record all of that because it's the basics standard of how I do it with anything, any annual. So I'll show you maybe one pot, how I'm going to tackle it, and then I'll take care of the rest. I'll position them around the property, and then I'll show you where these beautiful plants end up. Right, so yeah, so I'm just going to show you all on just one pot how I approach potting up my annuals or perennials for that matter, but today it's mostly about annuals. And in this pot, you can see there's a big hole in the bottom, and all pots need to have proper drainage. Cannot emphasize that enough. More plants are killed in our gardens from overwatering than underwatering. If you overwater and that cannot drain, those roots of the plant will rot and die. So anyhow, the way I'm going to combat this, so this is a good size hole, which of course is good, right? We want drainage, but that's pretty big. And so I'm going to take some coffee filters and I'm just going to lay them down in the bottom before I place my soil in, so that especially as it's a new pot being getting established, as I add the soil in and start watering, I don't want it to all wash out the bottom right away. So that's what I'm going to do to deal with that hole. So what's going in this pot? These gorgeous Coleus, the Perilla purple. And so I'm going to place 3 in here because according to the specs on their tags, they should create quite an impact and be just gorgeous. So of course, first things first, gonna grab my Pearl Mix potting soil. Again, use whatever potting mix you prefer. I just am a fan of Pro Mix. It's just served me really well. Super light, just great for newly new roots. So, I think I showed you on a video not long ago about how I like to do this next little trick when I'm potting up lots of things. So I'll show you. But first, lots of soil in the bottom. This is a big pot. I don't know what the diameter is on the pot, but let's see. I think I need to add a little bit more. Okay, so now that I have it mostly full of soil, I'm going to add, I'm not going to use gloves, you guys. I'm sorry, but I'm going to shake in some Biotone starter fertilizer. Just a little bit will do you, because the roots are going to be grabbing down into here, and we want them to get off to a good start. Going to follow that up with this continuous release plant food. Keep them going this summer. Work that in a little bit. All right, so that's set. Now, here's the trick. You saw me do this the other day. So I'm going to take out my plants from their containers. These gorgeous purple Coleus. Set them here, here, and here. All right, so I can position their little containers where I want them, just like that, making sure that the lip of where the plant was growing, the top of it is under the edge of this by at least an inch or two, just because when you get all the soil in here and you start watering, you don't want it to be so high that the soil goes everywhere. Believe me, I've done that. I still do that sometimes. So, okay, so the cups are in there. So now I take more soil and cover it up. Whoops. I need to pull my Okay, let's see if that's going to do it. Where are they? Okay, might have put a little too much. I always do that. That's great. That's why I use this wonderful soil mixing tray, because I just take out the excess, throw it in the tray, and then I reuse that soil, and it doesn't go all over the ground. And well, I don't know about me, but I get pretty dirty. I'm not one of those super tidy, clean gardeners. I want to be you. If you know how to keep yourself from getting dirty and yucky gardening, some days are dirtier than others. Okay, so yeah, so we can see my little containers down in there. Gosh, it's taking me forever. Sorry about this, everybody. All right, here we go. So then you just lift out your container, save that soil. It's going to go back into the next container. I've got 3 perfect holes to receive these perfectly beautiful purple Coleus. Oh my goodness. I can't even take it. It's so pretty. All right, so want to add back a little bit of soil, right? We don't want to plant them so high that any of their roots or the tops of the plants are exposed. So a little tiny bit more just to nestle them in, gently pat down. Now I'm not going to water them here because you saw my scooter. This big, beautiful sage colored pot's going to go in my scooter. I'll take it down to where I'm going to place this pot outside, actually, by one of my hosta beds, and I'll water it in down there, because if I watered it in now, whoa, it would be so heavy. I would not want to have to lift it. So yeah, so check that out. I mean, talk about gorgeous. And doesn't it look great in this color pot? Oh, so pretty. All right. I'm gonna get all these other pots potted up and then I'll show you the results. Okay, so there they climbed up out of the pond. Let's see if the little ones follow. Can they get up through all that thick grass? Let's see. Mom and Daddy got up out of the pond. Are the little goslings working their way up through that thick grass? Oh yeah, there they are. You see them? Oh, it's a lot for those little tiny legs. Oh, oh, there they are. Aww. Look at that. You all are so adorable. Thank you for visiting. Aww. Wow, how sweet. Okay, time to take a look at my unique stone urns, my planters by the front door. And in those, I chose to put the Dragonwing begonia in the back. That's the pink variety. And the proven winner Sweet Caroline Medusa green in the front. The idea is this will trail over the front as they call a spiller, and this will be my thriller because even though the tag says, oh, what's it say, like 15 inches tall, I have grown Dragonwing begonias in these pots for years and they get enormous. Mine get easily 2 feet tall in this location. They just love it here. So that's my first pair of pots all ready to grow in for the season. I like that. Simple, classic, beautiful. Okay, so you might have seen this before. Here's a little hosta, narrow hosta bed that we've got behind our house. And this is the pot I put those 3 lovely Coleus in. Look at those. I mean, isn't that beautiful? This is what they call the Perilla purple Coleus. I put 3 in that pot and the tag says they will get 24 to 36 inches tall and 12 to 14 inches wide. So this is really going to grow up and fill in this little corner there by my hostas. And I just think, ooh, just wait. I mean, if they're this pretty now, imagine them 2 to 3 foot tall and wide. All right, in my pots here by the greenhouse, I planted the proven winners Euphorbia, the diamond snow. So there they are. Oh, that's going to be gorgeous. Let's see. Specs on diamond snow, 12 to 18 inches tall. So that'll be nice up against these aquapots that I had planted up on another video that have 3 different kinds of Super Tuna Mini Vistas and Gara I put in the centerpiece. So I think the white and the purples will be really pretty together. So yeah, those are 2 new pots all ready for the season. So here we are on the north side of the house and you can see that it is shaded now. I think I shared with you before, I'll do a garden tour, but these are the little lime punch hydrangeas. I planted those last year and they're going to be gorgeous. But I wanted to show you the annuals that I popped in here in the back. And this is the proven winners Colorblaze Torchlight. And I put them in the back, sort of not right up against the wall, but close by because the tag says they can get 24 to 40 inches tall. So there they are. I think that'll make a really pretty backdrop to my Brunnera. I showed you that. Now Brunnera is not an annual, it's a perennial and it spreads and grows. These are gorgeous. This is called Alexander's Great. So let me show you. I put 3 Brunnera in the north side. Oh my goodness, the birds. You hear that? There's one Brunnera. Here's the other Brunnera, and in front of it, the Copperhead Coleus. Gorgeous. And then, hello birdies. Wow. Um, and then on this tier, you see our Japanese maple, some hostas I had in, and there's the other Alexander Great Brunnera. So got those in. And one thing I forgot to show you, some more coleus I planted up. And I think I left the tag in here, which is really good. This is called French Quarter. I got this at Vintage Hills too, along with all those other coleus. I popped these in here along with, these are the double up pink begonias from Proven Winners. So I already had these two here in the pot and left a space because I knew I wanted to put a coleus behind them that would really fill in and grow up and play off that beautiful pink. So this is our garage here. So I've got this tall planter that is self-watering. Amazing to have that on this side of the house. And there is a repeat of that beautiful French Quarter coleus with the double up pink begonia. So here we are on our back porch that looks out and over to the pollinator patch. I decided to put that beautiful electric lime coleus in these 3 pots. And oh, what a contrast with the color of the pots. I also showed you a little bit about how to prune coleus. Because when you prune it back a little bit, it will let it bush out instead of getting really long and lanky. And I still may prune on these a little bit more. I'm just going to let them settle in for a couple weeks and see what happens. And if I want them to bush out more, I'll prune them and I'll take those cuttings and root them and start new plants, which is amazing. And this was the electric lime coleus. It needs full sun and shade, so it does great anywhere. And they top out at 28 inches. So that will be quite something when they fill in. And as you can see on this big pot, I went ahead and threw in a cute little grouping of white Impatiens, of course. So they always make a nice little filler for a shady spot. And finally, this little trio of pots that sits on our covered porch are filled with those absolutely gorgeous Impatiens. I can't remember the name. I think I shared with you the name of it earlier and I could not find the tag, darn it. But they're not only going to look great, the foliage is so striking, but they'll produce a bright pink flower, which will be really great to see. So looking forward to having those do their thing. Well, another garden adventure complete. I had so much fun today planting up all those beautiful annuals and those perennials, the Brunnera, that I got on a recent trip to Vintage Hill Farms in Franklin, Missouri. I posted a video of that just recently, so if you hadn't seen that, you might take a look at our little adventure to that beautiful spot. Gosh, it's feeling really great to have all our plants potted up. I'm just going to sit here on this couch on my back porch and take in the sights and sounds of a relaxing afternoon and just feel really good about what I got accomplished today and know that everywhere we look, we're going to see something pretty and something that we're going to enjoy all summer long. So thanks for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider liking and subscribing. And as always, happy gardening.